Sound check, this is Duluth.
Hi Duluth, this is Crookston.
Yeah, I can hear both of you just fine here in Morris. I assume you can hear me as well?
Oh yeah, sorry. My name is Ronnie, by the way.
Okay.
Yes, Duluth can hear you also.
All right.
See your connections on?
Yep. There's somebody connected behind me, but I can't figure out where that is.
Let's see, that's, we're looking at Duluth. Duluth, this is Crookston, can you hear us?
Yeah, they are, Morris and Duluth already checked in on that.
Oh, okay, they
but
already
there's,
talked
like,
to you.
behind my window, there's somebody else, like, and I don't know who that is.
You know, and we can get rid of your, hi Duluth.
Hi Duluth, or hi Crookston.
Oh, that's the way they built their bridge. All right, I'm going to.
Hey,
You like that?
that's
Okay.
much better, yes, thank you.
You're
See
not
it,
hiding
everybody.
them. And it's usually helpful to see yourself so you know
Yeah,
what they're
like you're not
looking
picking
at.
your nose or anything.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to say it.
I get it. Should I just close the door now? So it's not. Cool. Thank you, Jeff.
All right.
I'm Linda.
I'm in Crookston. My name is Ronnie.
Oh,
Ronnie.
hi Ronnie, I'm Dee.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So are you bringing the snacks today? That was a joke.
No.
Do you know if Dean, if your colleague is coming? I should remember her name, but I know.
From the music department? I don't know anybody from the music department that is interested in this. Oh, Stacy Crawford. Grown? She's an advisement. Oh, probably all summer, huh? Because I've been off all summer. How far along are things?
I think this is the last meeting. Do you think so?
This is actually my first meeting with this group, so.
I think it's the last meeting of the group too. I think we're closing up shop now, but
Really?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, has admissions already implemented Salesforce? Okay. Oh, cool. Oh. Yeah, I'm actually still not quite sure what my role is, but I have Salesforce experience, and that's about all I can offer. I can keep offering.
Hey, how are you doing? Good morning. Good for you for finding out about this.
Hi. Hi, Jake. I'm Dee. Charles. Nice to meet you. Oh, you're the new guy with admissions. Oh. I am with the music department. And the only reason I'm here is because I've worked with Salesforce before.
So you can turn the mic on.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning, this is Crookston.
Linda, how are you doing out there?
It's
Hey,
not
Max,
Linda, this
good.
is
How are
actually.
you?
Doing good, doing good. Let's see. It is 10:29. Can you guys, everybody see and hear us all right? I got a thumbs up. Oh, got another thumbs up. Got another one. We're thumbs up all around. Thank you.
It's kind of looking weird.
Can you hear
now.
us?
We can.
All right.
You're
We
a
had
little soft, but
Okay.
you know,
We'll sit kind of close
you
to the
probably
mic.
have a big stick to carry around, right?
That's
Speak
right.
Oh, nice to meet you. I'm Michelle. Hi, Michelle.
All right.
The only thing we can see is you and Michael standing up. So if you guys are going to be seated or whatever.
Okay. All righty. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Michael Olison, and thank you for coming to this meeting of the whole CRM formal community of practice. Why don't we check in and just let everybody know who's out there. Last time I saw, it looks like the Rochester is a no-show. So it is a nice empty room. So Linda, do you want to start in Duluth and let us know who's attending from there?
Yes, I'm Linda Deneen. I'm the IT director here in Duluth.
I'm Dee Charles with the music department.
I'm Jake Hanover with the Office of Admissions.
And we have one more person from admissions, Ian Pankook, who will be joining us shortly.
Okay, great. And from Crookston?
I'm Michelle Christopherson, Director for the Center for Adult Learning.
My name is Rani Bhattacharya. I work with the Community Economics Program and Extension.
Erica White, Admissions.
All righty, thank you. And then Morris.
This is Brian Herman from Admissions.
And Danielle Schatzsnyder from Admissions.
Good. And then what we'll do is we'll just hand around the microphone so everyone can introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm Rex Wheeler.
We can't see anyone from Twin Cities except for you two standing up.
Well, that unfortunately it's the way the room ends up being designed. But with the group that we've got right now, since everybody is kind of off to one side, we can first you can see a few of us over here, and then we'll go the other direction.
So there's Ellen and Shannon.
And then we'll shift to the other side. Hey, there's the crowd.
Okay.
So if you want, you can present from over behind it.
All right, do you want to say hello, Heather?
Hello, my name is Heather McLaughlin, and I work with the CRM service in OIT.
Renee Fawcett, OIT CRM service.
Neil Anderson, Extension IT. Hi, Randy.
Hi, Neil.
Ian Thicke, OIT CRM service.
Jim Hugo, School of Public Health.
Okay, and then we have Garfield Bowen.
I can introduce you. David Rosen, I'm in IT and usability services.
And then?
Maggie Manteuffel in the Carlson School Institutional Advancement Team.
And Kara Hedlund, I'm also in the Carlson Institutional Advancement Team.
Well, thank you all for coming. Appreciate it. We can kind of move forward with the agenda. In terms of this, we're hoping to be the last meeting of this community of practice so that we can go through and talk about what we've done over the summer and maybe get some feedback and maybe do some iterations and finalization. But I am hoping that we don't have to meet again. You want to go to the agenda page, Rex? Okay, thank you. So we've done welcomes and introductions. We'll review the charge so that everyone's aware of that, and we'll talk about our affinity group and report out on those, and then talk about what our next steps are after that. So, and then we'll be talking about wanting to form an advisory committee for the service, and we're going to be asking for people to send their nominations of who they would like to, of themselves or who they'd like to see participate to Renee Fawcett. So that will be how we'll conclude, and then we'll have any questions. So we can go to the charge. So this was our charge, which was the way I think of it is, how are we going to share a powerful resource like Salesforce.com? We each have individual departmental needs. Each of us have different business practices. For example, in Rochester, our focus has been on admissions, although we do hope to use it for other types of more traditional CRM needs. And so how do we form this in such a way that we all understand the rules that we're under, how we give direction to the service, and how do we prioritize those that come on to that? So those are the questions that we were addressed in our affinity groups. And I want to thank all of you who participated in affinity groups, who chaired them, and were on the steering committee. We're a little bit off. I'd hope that we could finalize this in August, but it's still hot enough that we'll call it the summer. So we can kind of move on. So I chaired the affinity group on collective use. So if we could bring up the collective use Google Doc. Okay. As a statement of if you want to go collective use principles all the way at the end. There. And then if you could click on several official systems of record. So one of the challenges we had in the collective use affinity group was really understanding how Salesforce.com fit into the university environment. And so we got together and what we discussed was, and there are many records of, the university has many different levels of record. But we use the examples of PeopleSoft, the donor management system, and the CRM to really give us an idea of how these would interrelate. And the conclusion that we came was that Salesforce.com could be viewed as the system of record for experiential data. Not necessarily all, but for units, it's about what happens to someone. Keeps track of how they're recruited, how they're, our relationships with them. PeopleSoft keeps track of HR and grades and payroll. And donor management talks about the relationships we have financially with the foundation, and then feeds into some of the athletic things. So this gave us an idea when we were thinking of collective use about how the Salesforce would fit into the university universe of systems of record. So using this, our committee came up with some principles and practices. And we kept this as simple as we possibly could, because what we wanted to do was say, okay, this is not really different than how we use other systems of record. We're going to govern the use and the access similar to how we govern use and access to these other systems. So it's really based upon your business need. And that the expectation is that we will follow those types of standards, that we will share information, that we'll be responsible for keeping people's addresses updated. There is partitioning that's available, so we won't necessarily see things that we don't need to see. That's just the way, just like we do in other systems of record. And so this, I think, really provided a framework that just got everyone on the same page in terms of how we would use these. And really then thinking in terms of, again, how the university already views our access to these systems of records in terms of what information is public, which information is private, and which is private restricted. And these are definitions that already exist. And then we also wanted to define the expectations of the participating units. And so what we did was think about core and common functionality, those out-of-the-box features. And then for those of us who had to do some customizations, the understanding should be that when we make those customizations, like we did in Rochester, that if anyone else wants to find that useful, we're more than willing to share, with no expectation that somebody's going to have to cover our costs. If we develop something special to meet our business needs, that should be available to the entire community. And then there is the whole idea that we have the shared responsibility for the quality of the record. So this is the framework that we painted for us to be able to move forward with how we would use something like Salesforce.com in university setting. So any questions from either here in Humphrey or from, somebody did join us from Rochester. Hello, Linda. So, okay. If there are no other questions, what we can do is our next part was the mapping of the ecosystem. We did from a meeting when we had our last fCoP meeting, we did just kind of a dump of what all of the CRM systems we were using are. And Brian, I think that is CRM classification. Yeah. So Brian, do you want to talk about what your affinity group did here?
Yes, I can. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. Okay, so we thank you everybody who's at the large group meeting in July. I actually wasn't there, but we collected the data from that event, and what we did was we listed all the databases that people had talked about. We put the principal use that those tools are, if they have a secondary use, and then other functions. And then we also added departments that we were aware of that were using it. We're not going to say that this is an exhaustive list of departments that are using it, and I'm not going to say that we got every single database that's used in the University of Minnesota, but we tried to get most of it. And if you scroll through, you can see we try to capture some of the large, potentially small, that are being used by different units that were CRM-like. So
the bottom of the list, if you're not happy about it, you can look back and see really a transparent discussion of what is it we were looking at the time? Why did we make that decision? And also you get to keep us honest, because if you think that you've got a better case, you know the things to argue about. This is there for viewing, but other than that, I'm not going to spend more time to it and go to the next one. I just want to move one tab to the left. This is our second deliverable, which is on who it is that should be making these decisions and allocating resources. And I know at the last large group meeting, we had discussion about this on who would you be comfortable making these decisions. We had you all work in small groups and make some ratings. We took that both the numerical scorings as well as the comments we got and put together this statement, which I won't read in full, but basically says that we should have a group of people. It should include, obviously, the CRM people. It should include some IT and some specifically non-IT, and at least some representation from system campuses, so that we're really speaking from different user groups and different constituents. Again, this will be up there for reading, or you can read it now. We're quite welcome to feedback for any of this that we have presented. And the third thing I'll move right along to, if you want to move one more over to the left, Rex. This is the big tool itself, and this is the large document that isn't going to fit up on screen, but it is available for browsing. And this is the actual survey tool, questionnaire, as you want to think. So the point for this is when you say, we'd like to join up on Salesforce, the Salesforce implementation team can work with you on this, and some questions will be for you, some will be for OIT, and they're sort of flagged specifically, but at least you can see what they're looking at. Not using the system, we don't expect you to know what everybody else is doing, but OIT needs to think about how is this going to affect other users. And this goes back to those priorities that came up before earlier as well, of this being a really university-wide tool. So we try to call out, think of places where this might impact other units, how will it benefit both you and other people, and if you are beneficial to the larger, this is all good for your getting bumped up higher in the priority list. These are all up there for viewing, and I really don't have much to say past that. So please do let us know if you have any feedback. And otherwise, I'll pass over to Michael.
Okay, thank you, Shannon. Any questions or comments so far as we move on? Okay. Okay, great. I think the last thing we're going to talk about is how we then communicate this moving forward. Renee and her affinity group did a lot of work in this space, and I think actually reported a lot of it out already. But why don't you just do a quick summary?
Rex, do you have that slide deck that I had shared for the steering committee? No. It was, while Rex looks for that, I can give a brief update. Basically, our group hasn't done a lot since our last meeting because we had a draft in place. We took the feedback that everyone provided in the last meeting and we incorporated it into an updated vision statement, which is where we spent most of our time. And rather than kind of have this continuous back and forth with, what do you think of this? And now what do you think of this? We're calling it done, knowing that the next step is really to operationalize the communication plan and work with Ellen on that. So we really felt that until the other groups have wrapped up, we're kind of good. So if we can get the new vision statement up, I can share that. Otherwise, we can certainly send that out. And if there are critical feelings or concerns with what we have in place, we certainly will look at tweaking it a little more, but we're hoping that it's good enough for now and we're able to move forward with the communication plan. Okay, and Ellen will just go ahead and that's not it. No, geez, who knows what I have out there on Google. Ellen will go ahead and share that information out.
Thank you, Renee. So these are the deliverables of our affinity groups. And so now what the next steps that we talked about is to, take this body, allow for any additional comments that people want to give after Ellen has shared the documents, and then this is going to go to the service to be able to be operationalized. In particular, there are going to be resources committed to helping communicate the vision. That was the one that is beyond the scope of the fCoP. We're all together. And did I freeze again, Morris? Okay. Okay, fine. So sorry about that. It had to be Rochester. So what we're saying is we've taken all of this deliverables from the fCoP, and this will go to the service to be able then to operationalize. And we're going to need to put resources into communicating the vision. And then the other next steps is we will need to be establishing an informal community of practice for those who actually use the tool. And I was saying that I could see that evolving into subgroups for those that are using in the emission space and those that are using in others. But that needs, I think, to grow organically. And then we need to form an advisory committee that will allow to assist the CRM service in making decisions regarding prioritization.
Privatization,
Call it. Oh, okay. The nominations for that should go to Renee Fawcett.
This is Crookston, could you please go back to where you were talking about privatization? You cut out again.
We're having some network issues here, unfortunately.
Okay. Crookston, in regards to what in terms of prioritization?
You cut out just as you said privatization. And then
Prioritization.
Okay,
we need to form an advisory committee that will help with prioritization. So we need to nominate members of the advisory committee. And those should come from large stakeholders, small stakeholders, as well as the system campuses and other units. And since we've had networking issues, anything else that we should repeat? Okay. So those are the next steps. We will. Ellen's going to make the links available, and we'll be looking forward to moving forward. Yep. Okay. Okay, great. Oh, okay, great. And so, is there anything else before we? Heather's going to give an update on the one-stop go live. Any other? Okay, Heather.
Hi. So a quick update from the CRM service on the one-stop go live. We did go live August 13th with our first release of functionality, and one-stop counselors, specifically the Helping You desk, are using Salesforce to interact and track their interactions with students. So we have live data for students now in our CRM system. Well, we have now a method for requesting when other units come on.
Thank you, Heather. Any more updates or anything else? Anyone else to cover?
Question from Duluth. People here are wondering, Michael, how we get access to the request form and would like to be able to start filling it out and sending in requests to get into Salesforce.
I think we need to give the service some time to digest the body of information. Yeah, so I mean, I think they're going to try to get it up as soon as possible, is what I'm saying. But we need to be able to take this body of work and get going. But I think with all due speed is the answer.
So where will it go? Will it go up on the CRM Community of Practice page, or will it go up on OIT's website, or can you give it? Or will
it'll go on? Well, the consensus here is that it should go on the CRM service website, which is being built right now.
And will we be informed when it's ready?
Yes, we'll be informed when it's ready. Right.
This is Crookston again. The previous speaker just mentioned that there is a methodology now for processing uptakes of interested work groups for Salesforce. Is there like a document that kind of outlines that methodology or that process of uptake and from the applicants? Because that's one of the, I mean, I'm a potential applicant is why I was invited on this very last call, and that's one challenge I'm having with the groups the people that I work with in my core work group is that we don't really understand how much that's going to be taking from what we are currently doing with our work.
Right. So part of what was produced is we do have a methodology, and that there was an update about it here, but we will be sharing that document so you can see how that methodology came together.
It's not so much like trying to find out like approve or sanctify, just understanding what utilizing Salesforce will require from us in like rolling it out within our division or within our program area, and that's the resource issue that we're kind of facing.
Okay, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. So what you're interested in is what is it going to take in terms of your commitment to roll it out on your side, and what are the reasons?
Not necessarily. Well, the resource question is secondary, but it's like for our own internal reference, we need to understand like how much time it will take from our staff, you know, both out in the field as well as like in our admin offices down in St. Paul. And, you know, is that something that we can really allocate towards doing this at this time, or should we postpone it on to like maybe more communication has been done about from this working group to the larger part of the university?